Hello everybody, this is Clint from the Film Arsenal. Welcome to another exciting visual effects tutorial. And this is the footage we're going to be using today of traffic and cars on a bridge, and we're going to be removing them. We're going to remove all the traffic and cars from the bridge today in less than 20 minutes. This is Nuke Class 101, Interface and Getting Started. So if you're new to Nuke, this is a video for you. If you're more experienced, you might not learn too much from this, but you still might pick up a few tricks about shortcuts or menu options here. So anyways, let's just get started. So first things you want to do, you want to go ahead and go to the description and download the footage. The link is in the description below. Okay, so go ahead and download your footage and create a folder for yourself somewhere on your hard drive, and go ahead and drop it in, just create a subfolder called footage. I'm just gonna go over a lot of pointers, like workflow efficiency also, because if you're working at a bigger studio, you're gonna wanna keep things clean and organized, so anyone else working on your scripts, they can navigate your project cleanly. So you got a couple options. If this is a one-on-one class, so I just wanna reiterate, this is bare basic stuff. So if you're advanced, you might not benefit from this, but if you're new to Nuke, if you've been using Nuke for less than like 6 months or so, you'll probably learn a lot from this. So let's go. So basic stuff. So you don't want to work with MOV footage in Nuke. It's not like After Effects. You want to convert all your footage over to image sequences. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna drag this into Nuke here. Okay, or you can hit R on the keyboard and navigate to it. So first things first, let's set up Nuke. So let's go to Edit, Preferences, Performance, Caching. So you see disk caching here, you want to put this on your fastest hard drive that you got. In my case, I have a SSD drive, so I'm definitely using that. So this is a SSD drive. I put all my cache in here. I even have, you see I have for Photoshop as well. So this is what I have in here, okay? So just paste that in. That one SSD drive, it's a Samsung Evo. It's like 550 megabytes a second. That's the equivalent of like a RAID 0 with like 5 drives. So go ahead and get yourself a fast hard drive, like an SSD, and you can use that for cache. And we could bump that up a little bit. And you're gonna wanna clear the cache when you're working on new projects. So you wanna go to Edit, you wanna go to Cache, Clear All. And that's gonna get rid of all the cache from your previous projects. All right, let's speed this up here. So like I said, we wanna convert this. Let's get that folder, directory. We're gonna output it here. And we are, go ahead and hit E on the keyboard. I'm sorry, W for our write node. We're gonna export that to that directory. Okay, we just paste that in. Bridge, there we are. Put that in there. Now we're gonna just name it whatever you want. So bridge footage underscore percentage dot tiff dot exr. Let's just start working with EXRs. So go ahead and the default is fine. We can just hit render selected write nodes. We only want half of that, so like, well, let's see. We want it before it pans. So if you hit S on the keyboard, change the frame rate, 24, yeah. So let's do 180. before it starts panning out. So render selected, 180. So it's making our image sequence now. Go ahead and just do conversions in Nuke. Forget about doing it in somewhere else. And I'm just playing that in VLC. I want to Control I will bring up this. Go to codec. Frame rate's 25. So let's see. So that's fine. Go ahead and hit S on the keyboard, and we'll change our project over to 25 frames a second. I usually work in 24, but let's just go ahead and match the footage. And while that's exporting, let's go over the interface a little bit. So first things first, you want to do a save as. So go ahead and save your project out so you could. I'm just going to call it this. Save it. And that's going to create your Nuke script for you. There it is. And if you right click on it, open with WordPad, you'll see it's just a simple document with locations. In case you ever need to modify this, you can just open this up, start changing stuff. Like if you change hard drives with footage, you can always go in here and change that to like different file locations. So that's important to know. Here's our frame rate if we want to change our project frame rate. Don't save. You could save it if you do need to make changes in here. And that's going. Okay, so let's go ahead and read. So hit R. Bring in our EXR footage. You can delete the MOV footage. MOVs just don't play back good, so always remember, convert your video footage to image sequences before you work with the Nuke. So here we go. Hit S on the keyboard. So let's go over the interface real quick. So I already showed you, if you hit S, click here anywhere, and then hit S, we'll bring up this screen. You can change your frame rate. Make sure the frame rate always matches the footage you're using. And how long is this footage? It is 180. So you can go ahead and change that. Change it to 180. If you hit spacebar, it'll make any of these go full screen, wherever your mouse is at. If you click here and hit F, it'll bring back everything you need. Middle mouse button, zoom in and out. Hold down Alt and click and drag anywhere. Right click brings up the nodes. You could also hit Tab and write any node. Let's see, so what else should we know? All right, let's just get started. So I'm hitting I on the keyboard right here, okay? So let's just play back the footage. See what it looks like. Hit spacebar. And if your computer's lagging, you can hit the proxy. I'm using middle mouse button to zoom in and out. Hold down Alt, click and drag. For this shot, let's go ahead and remove all the cars. Remove all the cars, how's that gonna happen, right? Seems a little complex. It might be, but let's just do it. Okay, so first things first, you want a clean plate of the bridge. So let's go ahead and get that. So go ahead and hit W, click on this, click on your footage, hit W again. You're gonna go to that location again. Oops. Go to your project path. You have a folder for footage. Let's create one for map paintings. Let's call that clean plate. We'll make this a TIFF for simplicity. That's all fine. And we're gonna render one still image of this. Render selected. And let's just take this frame 146. Let's take that into Photoshop. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this plate up. So you can just follow along here. If you hit S on the keyboard, brings up the clone tool, or you can find it here. Hit S, right click to change those, or the shortcuts are hold down Alt to sample, hold down Control, let's see. Hold down Alt and right and the right mouse, click and drag. So let's just start cleaning up. This is just gonna be a rough job anyways. Just to show you guys the concept of this. If this was a real production, you wanna like take your time and do all this pretty good. We'll just do it pretty quickly. So as you see, I'm already removing all the cars. Hold down spacebar. Just gonna go through, take out all these cars. Hitting S on the keyboard. Okay, that looks like all the cars are out. No more cars on the freeway. Cool. I mean on the bridge. Okay, cool. So we did this now, right? We cleaned up all the cars. So let's go ahead and flatten it. Select both layers. Hit Control E. Do save as. Clean plate. Finish. Flat. Let's go ahead and save that out. Go back to Nuke. Hit R. Bring it in. Hit M on the keyboard. Double click on that. Usually it's auto alpha up here. Pretty important. So now we have that over that. I'm hitting 1 on the keyboard and clicking somewhere else and hitting 2. And then click here, you could cycle between the two. Okay, so A is over B. So what we want to hit P on the keyboard. Yeah, that's gonna create a node, a paint node. So we're gonna just sample out the top of the bridge where the cars were. Okay, we don't want anything else, like the water or any of that. We're just gonna sample that out. Change that to black and convert it. So that's all we do. We just turn that to black and we hit that, invert. And that puts that over that, you see? And if you go full screen and you hit play, the water is still moving, the whole scene is still moving, except that mask is over your scene, you see? So you see this bus still moving, that's because our matte is not covering that. Let's double click on that. Let's make sure to include that. So we could raise this up a little bit. Just do like that. Feather it for the water. We could bring that way down. And it's gonna animate, you see? The mask is moving because we need to go on our keyframe that we like, select it all, right click, no animation, all. And that's gonna delete that keyframe. So now it doesn't move. But we still have our motion in the water below, you see? You see all the cool waves and the grass is moving, everything. It's like, oh wow, this bridge, there's no cars on the bridge. That's interesting. So that's something pretty common in visual effects. You know, instead of the producers getting a permit to like block off a bridge, which will cost a lot of money, they'll just have VFX remove all the cars, stuff like that. So that's a pretty simple shot, and we did that pretty quick. We pretty much removed all these cars from a shot, right? You know, we went from that to that, let's see. We went from this to that, which is pretty cool. So now you could go ahead and add whatever you want, like CGI. You could add your monkeys running across the bridge, you could have buses, you could have freaking planes going through. Cool stuff. But this is just the very first step. It only took us less than 20 minutes. I think probably because I talk slow and I'm slowing down as I'm explaining things. But yeah, that was just a real quick introduction to Nuke, what we can do with it. Hope you learned a couple quick little shortcuts. Let me go a little more in depth right now and just cover some basics, which I might have passed over. So, okay, let's render this out now. Hit W. That's gonna make a right node. So inside Nuke, I always create a folder called Nuke renders. And bridge v1 dot. Now I'm gonna render an MOV because it's a finished product. Or you could do an image sequence, it's up to you. But for this tutorial, I'm gonna render out as MOVs, which are perfectly fine. It's not okay to work with MOVs in Nuke, but it's okay to render them out. So we're gonna render that out. As you see here, you have the codec options. So depending what machine you're on, whatever you want to export as, if you want a low res preview for the web, H.264 is great. If you want the highest quality possible, 444 is excellent. Obviously uncompressed is like true uncompressed, but to the naked eye, this is as good with way less, taking up way less space. Nowadays, feature films are like finished in 4444. So let's just call that our standard highest quality. So let's render that out. Render, select, input. There it goes. And troubleshooting is a big part of compositing too, so just be ready for that. View, select the details, it's rendering out. It's pretty quick, as you see. And there's our finished shot. It's pretty cool. That's a pretty good shot, I'm proud of that. And obviously, we could go in there, clean stuff up a little bit, like feathering, but you know, for the sake of the tutorial, this is really good. So I showed you guys how to import files, hitting R on the keyboard, right? Bringing in your footage, creating your image sequence, doing a simple spline composite, A over B, rendering out, and let's see if we could, what else could I show you guys? Let's see, hitting S on the keyboard. All this stuff you can learn later. I'm basically gonna teach you as you need to know, pretty much. But for a 101, class 1, this is all you need to know. So hope this was good for you guys. Hope you learned something. And I'll see you in the next tutorial, class number 2. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe for more tutorials.